Unless you've been through the process of an AtomicSwap refund, it's difficult to report the process and personal emotions. For this reason, I've deliberately held off making this video. I'm pleased to say that this week I experienced firsthand a failed swap and the refund process, and after a little nervousness I came out the other side unscathed with a full refund, all completed autonomously with no manual help or system reboots. So let's walk through the process and demonstrate what to expect if and when you experience a failed swap. An important thing to remember with AtomicSwaps is the swap either completes or it doesn't. There's no in between. In my case, I was conducting a DCR to BTC swap. In this instance, I was the taker, which means I picked up an existing order rather than placing a new one on the order books. A taker's refund will be processed 8 hours after the refund has been initially triggered, whereas a maker's refund will be processed 20 hours after the refund has been initially triggered. When the swap process starts, it will look like a normal swap and try to obtain the correct number of confirmations on each of the blockchains. In this instance, the initial swap transaction for the BTC chain completed without error, with 2 confirmations. It wasn't until the first confirmation came through on the Decred blockchain that I started getting notifications that something was wrong. At this point, I knew the transaction was likely to fail because there was a communication error with the server. The confirmations continued to come in. Normally on the Decred blockchain, 3 confirmations would trigger the redemption process on both chains. But in this case, the confirmation went to 5, which in turn triggered the refund process. The next part was simple. Set my alarm for 8 hours time to make sure my DCRDEX software is active and ready to receive the refund. It's important to note that it's better that DCRDEX is not turned off during this time. But as my system has a tendency of going to sleep, I knew that I'd likely need to be available to wake it up. After 8 hours, the refund was processed automatically and just needed 2 on-chain confirmations to completely settle and be unlocked, ready for my next swap. If you're the maker, this is the same process, but the wait time is 20 hours for the refund to be processed after it's initially triggered. As a final note, if a swap does fail, it's likely both parties will pick up penalty points. If you've completed regular successful swaps, you'll not be affected by this penalty, as you'll already have a good enough reputation to offset the reduction in points. On the other hand, if you're frequently processing failed swaps, this will impact on your score and could even lead to the loss of your fidelity bond. Currently, the reputation system isn't visible in DCRDEX and is undergoing various iterations. But as we move forward, this will become an important part of the system to keep an eye on and to make sure you're in good standings with.